context of current installed users? Do you have?
Yeah, so a broader context is Boostlingo doesn't just sell into the medical vertical.
Correct, other industries as well.
Court systems, insurance industries, there's a lot of other ones. But I'd say healthcare is about 60% of our revenue profile. It is the biggest vertical that we work under. And yeah, we have everything from very large hospital systems using our product today to small urban clinics that have just a handful of docs because 60% of their patients don't speak English. So it's a pretty broad range of customers.
So you've been up for 6 months. You have a fairly broad range of customers. You got any stories for me? I love stories. Stories about something your product did for a doc or a patient or somebody else. If it hadn't been there, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I think there's multiple examples I could cite. That we rolled this out to a big hospital system in Florida. They rolled it out to 6 different campuses. Up until then, they had been using in-person interpreters. But the problem was that doesn't work in an ER type of environment because when the patient's on the gurney coming through the doors, you don't have time to get an interpreter on site.
Not to mention the interpreter may be with the last patient that came in on a gurney.
Right. And so now what they were doing is exactly what you described. Up until they started using Boostlingo, they were using staff. And it wasn't a good quality of service. Now the docs have in their hands, we've actually shipped them all iPads, and they're all using those iPads whenever these patients come in the door. And we like to believe that that's led to a higher quality of care. And in some cases, what we've heard, the feedback from the hospital is it's helped recovery times and actually helped communication between the docs and the patients.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I opened with the story about the Hmong. The Hmong didn't have any word for surgery in their language. They were Stone Age people. So the high school students used the word for butchering that was applied to livestock, preparing meat for it. Oddly enough, we had difficulty getting surgical consent from the parents.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm a medical director of an HMO or a hospital or a large medical group integrated delivery system. I can go on and on and on. We have all sorts of different ways we can call this stuff. And I say, by golly, this is the right thing. I'm the one on the hot seat. We do patient care. The auditors are coming. The state wants me to have this in place, and it seems like a good idea. How do I get it? I haven't seen it. Where do I go? What do I do?
That's right. Well, one place to go is boostlingo.com, boostlingo.com, or you can email info@boostlingo.com. We have a network of partners. These are language agency companies that use our platform as a service. So oftentimes we would recommend that healthcare system to work with one of our partners.
Well, how about if I've got already a language service provider, and they're great folks, and not only that, they're related to somebody in the organization. I'm not sure how to contract get there, but they're not going anyplace.
Yeah.
But I like this product. Is there a way I can get that person to get in touch with you and get into your ecosystem, as you put it?
It's a win-win because you get to keep the same language agency you're currently working with that you've built relationships with, but you can bring them onto the Boostlingo platform so they're able to provide a better service for you. And you're going to, as the director there, you're going to be able to save a tremendous amount of costs, especially if you're using in-house interpreters. And you're going to be able to deliver a higher quality.
So together, I could work with my language service provider, get a hold of Boostlingo, and figure out a solution that'll work for me. And maybe it'll work for them and their other businesses as well.
Yeah, we like to think so.
Any words about what's going to happen in the future? If I come back in another year, and I hope I get invited, what's going to be news in a year from now?
Globalization is not going away. Language diversity
I don't know. That isn't what
Well, they can build walls, but people are continuing to expand. The economy is becoming a global economy. And machine translation and AI, by the time that's caught up in the interpretation space, their self-driving cars will be everywhere. And until that time, you need human capital, you need human resources. We're going to give you the best technology. There's one quote that I'll leave you with that I love in our industry because a lot of interpreters, of course, are worried about the technology trends. You know, am I going to be out of a job in 5 years or 10 years with the way things are going?
Sounds like they have a little more time left in their careers than Uber drivers do.
A little bit more, yeah, we would say. And there's a quote that we love to use here that comes from actually one of our partners that they just gave at a conference, that technology is never going to replace interpreters, but interpreters that use technology will replace those that don't. And so we believe that interpreters that are coming into our ecosystem are giving themselves the best source of income and access to the most jobs.
Well, thank you so much for letting me stop by and for putting up with the grumpy old doc. More info for you if you're a language service provider and you think that maybe somebody who gets this platform is going to eat your lunch, you better go to boostlingo.com. And if you're a doc or a hospital administrator or operations director that thinks it's a good idea, get on the horn, talk to your language service provider. I think this is an improvement that makes sense that we can all get behind. I don't see the downside of this in healthcare. Boostlingo.com, put the www in if you must, but this is 2017. You don't need to anymore. Until next time, stay healthy, my friends. Be sure and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and more details at grumpyolddoc.com.